If a married man says certain things to you, it is never casual. Words from him are rarely innocent. They are measured, loaded, and often carry meaning far beyond what they seem. They are not just conversation, they are signals. And if you do not recognize those signals, you risk walking straight into a situation that will cost you far more than you expect. The first thing, you understand me better than anyone. At first, hearing these words from a married man can feel almost electric. They make you believe you are special, that you see into him in a way no one else can. In that moment, you might feel chosen, important, even irreplaceable. But when those words come from someone who already has a committed partner, they are rarely just an innocent compliment. More often, they are the opening move in creating a private emotional bond, one that gives him comfort, without requiring him to change anything about his real life. By telling you that you understand him better than anyone, he is handing you a role. That role is not casual, it is strategic. It invites you into a corner of his emotional world, where you start to feel responsible for his well-being. You become the person who listens when no one else does, who sympathizes when others criticize, who provides comfort without asking for the same in return. And once you step into that role, the dynamic begins to shift in his favor. This kind of emotional intimacy can be more binding than physical attraction. It draws you in, day by day, conversation by conversation, until you find yourself prioritizing his feelings over your own. You start to replay his words in your mind, trying to understand him even more deeply, believing that if you can meet his emotional needs, you will hold a unique place in his heart. But the truth is, a man who is committed to someone else should be looking to that person to fulfill those needs, not outsourcing them to you. The danger here is subtle, because it feels good to be seen, to be valued, to be told you matter. But that feeling can cloud your judgment. While you are busy understanding him, you may overlook the fact that he is not offering you the same depth of understanding in return. His life remains the same, his commitments unchanged, while you adjust your boundaries, your availability, and even your emotions to fit around him. And there is another layer. When he frames you as the only one who truly understands him, he is also isolating you from reality. He is implying that others, perhaps his partner, perhaps friends or family, simply cannot connect with him the way you do. This can create a sense of exclusivity, as if you are part of a private world no one else can enter. It feels intimate, but it is also a form of control, because the more you believe you are the only one who gets him, the more willing you become to overlook the limitations of the relationship. Over time, this dynamic can wear you down. You may notice that your emotional energy is drained after speaking with him, or that your own needs take a back seat. You might start to feel responsible for his moods, his struggles, even his happiness. And that responsibility, while it may feel like love, is actually a weight you were never meant to carry. The truth is, emotional availability without genuine commitment is a trap. It gives him comfort, validation, and a sense of connection, all without requiring him to make space for you in his real life. And the longer you remain in that position, the more you risk losing sight of your own value. Recognizing this pattern for what it is can be the first step toward reclaiming your boundaries, your energy, and your self-respect. Asterisk the second thing. I wish I had met you sooner. At first, these words sound romantic. They carry a bittersweet edge, as if life had been cruel enough to bring you together at the wrong time. You might feel a rush of emotion, imagining an alternate version of reality where the two of you could have had everything, a life together, without limits, without secrets. But when a married man says this, it is important to understand what is truly being communicated. This phrase is not an accident. It is a carefully chosen frame for your relationship. By saying he wishes he had met you sooner, he paints himself as a victim of timing, not of his own decisions. This subtle shift is powerful. It makes you more likely to sympathize with him, to forgive the fact that he is not available, and to accept the limitations of your connection. Because if timing is the only problem, then neither of you is really to blame. You are just star-crossed, lovers separated by life's unfairness. But here is the truth. Timing is rarely the real obstacle. Commitment is. A man who truly wants to be with you will not hide behind wistful daydreams of what could have been. He will make tangible changes to his life to make that reality possible. This phrase, however, does the opposite. It keeps you locked into a fantasy. It creates a space where you invest your emotions into a story that can never fully unfold. And in that space, you are left waiting for something that will never come. all while he enjoys the comfort of his current life and the thrill of your connection. There is another danger hidden in these words. They make you feel as if you are almost the right choice, that you came so close to being the one if only the universe had arranged things differently. This creates a quiet but dangerous form of acceptance. You begin to tolerate being second, because, in your mind, you are the would have been first in a better world. That belief can make you excuse his absence, overlook broken promises, and keep giving parts of yourself to someone who cannot give himself fully to you. Over time, the phrase, "I wish I had met you sooner," becomes a comfort for him and a cage for you. It allows him to enjoy the emotional closeness you provide, without having to face the cost of changing his life. It gives him a way to express longing without taking action, and it keeps you emotionally tethered to him through hope, rather than reality. The most dangerous part is that you may start to see this longing as proof of love, when in fact it is proof of avoidance. Love is not just about words or imagined scenarios. It is about choices, actions, and the willingness to align your life with the person you claim to value. And a man who truly loves you will not wish for a different timeline. He will create one. When you hear this phrase, recognize it for what it is, a way to keep you emotionally invested without offering you a real future. The moment you see that clearly, you regain the power to decide if this is truly the kind of love you want, or if it is time to walk away and make space for the love that will actually choose you. Before we go deeper, the Jung method can help you understand why you sometimes stay in situations that drain you, and how to protect your energy while still being fully yourself. The link is in the first comment. The third thing, "My wife doesn't understand me." This phrase might sound like a sincere confession, but it is often a calculated position. First, it creates quick intimacy. He shows you a crack in his marriage and makes you believe you have been chosen to see what no one else sees. The real goal is to draw two sides and invite you to his part. Without realizing it, you start to see his partner as distant or incapable, even though you do not know the real dynamic. You begin forming an emotional bond based on a one-sided story crafted to pull you closer. By saying his wife does not understand him, he is also suggesting that you are different. You understand. You listen. You care. That makes you feel unique, needed, and special. The feeling is powerful, but it creates a role with no real power. You become his emotional outlet, not his life partner. Over time, this narrative shifts your boundaries. You take on the responsibility of stabilizing his emotions, believing your presence heals something his marriage cannot, and you tolerate limits you once would never have accepted. Meanwhile, nothing actually changes. He keeps his life as it is, gets comfort when he needs it, and returns to the routine he chooses to preserve. This statement says more about him than it does about his marriage. A man committed to growth addresses problems within the relationship or makes decisions to change his situation. When he repeats that he is not understood and nothing changes, he is not seeking resolution, he is seeking escape. You become the safe place where he vents, feels validated, and recharges before going back to the life he refuses to alter. There is also the silent effect on your own identity. As you buy into the idea that you understand him more than anyone else, you are more likely to ignore signs of your own exhaustion. The anxiety after conversations, the drained energy, the feeling of waiting for something that never happens. These signs show that the bond is being sustained by contrast with his wife, and by secrecy, not by real choices. Bonds, sustained by contrast, demand more and more explanation, justification, and sacrifice from you while requiring less and less from him. There is also the risk of isolation. When you accept the role of the one who understands, you start filtering out outside advice and dismissing perspectives that contradict his version. This reduces your clarity. The less clarity you have, the more dependent you become on what he tells you. The more dependent you are, the easier it is to stay in a story that shrinks your independence. When this phrase appears, replace the question, "Does she not understand him?" with a far more honest one, "Is he willing to be honest with his own life?" If the answer is no, then the phrase is simply a tool to keep you close without offering you a future. Recognizing this gives you back your decision-making power. You do not need to prove you understand him better than anyone. You need to protect your peace. And protecting your peace in this case means leaving a narrative that asks from you what he does not even give to himself. Responsibility, clarity, and action. The fourth thing. "I can't stop thinking about you." These words can feel like a rush of adrenaline. They create the image that you have taken over his mind. that your presence is so powerful it interrupts his daily life. For many women, hearing this sparks excitement and the belief that the connection is intense and undeniable. But when these words come from a married man, the reality is often very different. Telling you he cannot stop thinking about you allows him to express desire without taking responsibility. It paints a picture of longing and obsession, but it does not require him to make changes that would bring you into his life in an honest and committed way. Thinking about you and choosing you are two entirely separate things. This phrase can keep you emotionally hooked, replaying the attention in your mind, while in reality nothing moves forward. This type of statement is powerful because it appeals to the human desire to be wanted. We all want to know we matter, that we leave a mark on someone's thoughts, but when that validation comes from someone who is unavailable, it becomes a form of emotional bait. He gets to enjoy the thrill of admitting his distraction, while you carry the emotional weight of believing it means something more than it does. The danger here is that these words are easy to say and cost him nothing. They do not require planning, sacrifice, or change. They give you a feeling of significance, yet they can keep you in a holding pattern where your hope grows but your reality stays the same. Over time, you might find yourself interpreting every message, every glance, every moment as proof of his feelings, even though those feelings have never turned into action. A man who truly cannot stop thinking about you in a meaningful way will not be content to leave it there. He will take steps to align his life with his thoughts, to create a space where the relationship can exist openly and fully. Without that, his words are only an escape, a temporary thrill that lets him step out of his daily routine without actually leaving it. Another danger is the imbalance it creates. While he is free to express how much space you take in his mind, you may start to give him even more space in yours. You replay conversations, overanalyze small details, and begin to adjust your life around the possibility of a future he has never promised. This emotional investment can be exhausting, and the longer it continues, the more difficult it becomes to walk away. When a married man says he cannot stop thinking about you, remember that real commitment is measured by action, not by passing thoughts. Words without change are comfort for him and confusion for you. Recognizing that difference is the key to protecting your heart. If he is not willing to match his thoughts with choices, then his words are not a declaration of love, they are a distraction from the life he is not willing to alter. The fifth thing, you make me feel alive again. At first, this phrase can feel like the ultimate compliment. It suggests that your presence has brought light, energy, and excitement back into his life. It can make you feel powerful, valued, and essential to his happiness. But when these words come from a married man, they often reveal something far less romantic and far more dangerous. Telling you that you make him feel alive again is an admission that he is using you as an escape. It means that something in his life feels stagnant or unfulfilling, and instead of addressing it directly, he is seeking relief through you. In the short term, this can feel intoxicating. You become the source of joy he claims to be missing. But over time, this role is exhausting because it puts the responsibility for his emotional state entirely on your shoulders. The reality is that a man who feels truly alive because of you, yet chooses to stay in his existing situation, is not looking to build a shared future. He is looking to recharge himself before returning to the same life that drains him. You become the hidden source of energy that keeps him functioning in a world he has no intention of leaving. This is not a foundation for a relationship. It is a cycle of temporary highs and inevitable lows. Another risk with this phrase is how it shifts your sense of self-worth. You may start to believe that your value lies in how much excitement you can provide for him. This can lead to constant pressure to keep the spark alive, to be more fun, more engaging, more daring, as if his happiness depends entirely on your ability to entertain and inspire. That is not love, that is a performance, and it will leave you drained. It also creates a false sense of intimacy. By saying you make him feel alive again, he draws you into a role where your presence feels urgent and essential. But it is important to remember that true intimacy requires openness, honesty, and shared responsibility for the relationship. If he only feels alive with you in moments that are hidden from the rest of his life, then you are not part of his world, you are an escape from it. Over time, the cost of playing this role becomes clear. You begin to realize that while you are giving him moments of freedom, he is not giving you stability, commitment, or a place in his real life. The relationship exists in fragments, in messages, in quick meetings, in stolen moments, and those fragments are not enough to sustain you. When a married man says you make him feel alive again, pause and ask yourself what that really means. If feeling alive is tied to secrecy, limitations, and temporary highs, then it is not the kind of connection that will nurture you in the long term. Real love does not just make you feel alive, it builds a life where you can both thrive openly. Without that, his words are not a promise. They are a reminder that he is choosing to keep you in a space where he can take what he needs without ever offering the same in return.